Hey y'all, I've come to my thinking spot because this is what I do. I think lots and lots of thoughts. So I thought that I would share some stuff with you about what I'm thinking about. So I'm really conflicted. I am loving posting shit about my sexuality. I'm loving putting naked pictures of me on my OnlyFans and pictures of me shaking my booty on Instagram. But the problem with that is that then people think that my sexuality is for sale. And that's weird because on one hand, we're like, no, sexuality should not be for sale. And I think it should. I think that women have every right to sell their sexuality. But then at the same time, what about when we are just being in our sexuality and we're not trying to sell anything? We're just there, embracing our own sexuality, and we're welcoming you to participate in that. So, how is there a way for women to fully own their sexuality, step into their sexuality, and at the same time let people who would want to quantify their sexuality, let them know, like, okay, this is really just me embracing my sexuality. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm not here to, try to capitalize on this. But at the same time, there needs to be a way for people to say, politely, without assuming that their sexuality is for sale, like, hey, I liked this thing you did. Are you selling anything? Which in some ways is maybe if they just said that, because it's getting on my nerves how, like, whenever I post shit, people will just instantly jump in my inboxes and say things like, I just really wanted to fuck you, and I want to get to know you, and they're not pausing to think, like, but does she want to get to know me? Because this is a two-way street. All human exchanges go both ways. Just because a woman embraces her sexuality and feels comfortable existing in her sexuality does not mean that she wants your sexuality. Like, enjoy your own sexuality. Exist in your own sexuality. That's not something that you need somebody else to do. You can do that fully by yourself, right? I mean, am I missing something? What is it about a woman taking naked selfies and posting them that makes you think that she would want to fuck you? Why is this a thing? I don't understand. But it also, I think that at least for me, when I post naked selfies, I'm really okay with you doing whatever the fuck you want to do with that selfie. Like, go for it. It's up there. Enjoy it, appreciate it, engage with it in whatever way is working for you. But why would you go ahead and contact me and assume that I want to engage with you on a deeper level? That's the part that I'm really confused about. And also, I think if you do reach out, because there are times, right? So, like, maybe I come across some image that an artist drew and I'm like, oh my God, I love that. I'm going to reach out to that artist maybe and just say, hey, that's okay. And ask them if they sell something. That's okay, but I'm not assuming, I'm not being rude about it. What is it in our culture that we think, just because a woman is existing comfortably in her sexuality, that you can go ahead and assume that her sexuality exists for you? I wanted to tell you a story. So look, check this out. This is my thinking spot that I have. It's a construction site. I love having a thinking spot. It's necessary to how I do life. I spend a lot of time in my head, and it's great to sit on top of some big, vast space and just process. It helps me feel like maybe there's space for all the thoughts in my head. My last thinking spot, I made the mistake of sharing it with a dude who we were friends, and we were also fucking at the time. And he wanted more. He wanted me to move in with him. I'm not really sure what he wanted. He proposed when he was drunk. Anyways, what's weird is that this is not a unique story. I don't think it's me attracting men who don't have their shit together, because this guy was a really great guy. But I think that as women embrace our sexuality, men think that they can take over us. And as women, we let them. We want them to take over us to some extent. And I don't get that either. It was really hard for me to tell this dude no, kind of because I was scared. Like, what happens if I say no? So I played it off. And then after I told him no, like, I don't want anything with you that is some sort of a deeper connection that looks like us having a future together. I just want to be friends. Can we just be friends and keep fucking? Keep it like right here at this level. A few days later, my thinking spot had been fully sabotaged. He was the only person who knew about it. He came, like, I had snacks in a little cooler that I left tucked under a tree in a little tree hollow. And like, the snacks were strewn out everywhere. It wasn't animals. Animals can't break into coolers. There were no bears. It wasn't a raccoon. Like, there was wine and shit. The cork had been opened up and like the bottle was down the hill. And I'm actually also really good at tracking. I was able to track this dude from his destruction of sabotaging, like totally destroying my thinking spot, to my back door. It was a little scary because dude is out here angry that I said no. So angry that he destroyed my sacred thinking spot. And I think this goes to the same thing. Like, I exist in my sexuality. I'm okay with you engaging in my sexuality to the extent that I allow it. No further. So enjoy those pictures. Enjoy those videos. In this dude's case, enjoy fucking with me. No further. What is it with women when we stand in our power, when we stand in our sexuality? Men assume that the rest of us is there for them as well. And to some extent, okay, for real, I respect men who are like, hey, I want to pay you for that. I don't find that insulting at all. I think that women should be paid for their sexuality if they want to be. So not all women want to be paid for their sexuality. That picture's just up there because they enjoyed putting it up there. They enjoyed the process of having it taken. But we do this thing where once a woman posts something, a naked picture, or, you know, maybe her shirt just off the shoulder, men assume that their sexuality is on display, that this woman's sexuality is on display for them. What is that about? Why? Like, why can't women have their sexuality just as much for themselves as men have their sexuality for themselves? I don't think that I've ever seen a picture of a dude half naked and assume that he existed for me and was selling something. That's weird. Why is our culture still so backwards in this area? I think as women, we get to define how to embody our sexuality. We get to define how to embody ourselves. Ooh, look at the skyline. There's this gorgeous airplane. It's pink, just flying. Oh, it's so beautiful. So why is it so different still when women embody their sexuality? We should be able to embody our sexuality and decide that it just exists as a standalone thing, with without it being for you, right? Yeah, let me know your thoughts.